Greetings and welcome to the Astronomy Picture of the Day podcast. Today's picture for May 30th of 2025 is titled Mars in the Loop. So what do we see here? Well, here we see a number of images of Mars taken between September 19th of 2024, which we see off to the right-hand side there, and May 18th of 2025 to the far left. Now, this shows the motion of Mars over that time. Now, you can notice a couple of things, including the fact that the size of Mars appears to change, going from smaller to larger and smaller again, and that Mars does not make a nice even path across the sky. So the size changes because the distance is changing. When we reach that middle part of that loop, Mars is at the point of what we call opposition. And that's when Mars is closest to Earth in its orbit. The closer something is, the larger it's going to appear in the sky. So we can see something of the size differences here. We also see what is called the retrograde loop. So a planet will move retrograde because of the relative motions of Earth and the planet. And what Mars does here is, starting on September 19th, when it's off in the west, it's slowly traveling eastward. That is the direct motion. And we see that that reaches a peak and stops in December. So around December 8th or so, it's reached the edge of that loop and it starts turning around. And so it's been heading eastward. Now it turns around and heads westward again from around, again, December 8th until February 24th, at which point it turns again and starts heading back toward the east. Now, the difference is because what Earth is doing is Earth is in a shorter orbit, moving faster, and at this point, Earth is overtaking Mars in its orbit. And that makes Mars appear to go backward, even though it really is just continuing to move forward in its orbit. Now, this is something that was, of course, very confusing to very early astronomers, especially if you considered the Earth to be the center of the solar system, as it was in the geocentric model that was used early on. How do you explain this type of motion? You had to have ways of the planet actually stopping and changing its direction in the sky. Because if everything is going around the Earth, then we would expect a nice even path, and here we do not have that. Now, you'll also note that it is reversed. When we look up at the sky, east and west are backwards from what you're used to looking at. So when you look up in the sky, east is to the left, west is to the right. Now, that's the opposite of what you look at a map on Earth. And of course, the difference is because when we look at an Earth map, we're up above looking down on it, whereas when we look up at the sky, we're inside and looking up from inside, which reverses the directions of east and west here. So Mars starts out there back in September of 2024, heads in a direct direction towards the east, stops, turns around, heads back to the west for a couple of months, and then starts heading east again. And that is what is known as retrograde motion, and is caused by the relative motion of Earth and Mars both moving around the sun. So that was our picture of the day for May 30th of 2025. It was titled Mars in the Loop. We'll be back again tomorrow for the next picture, previewed to be after image. So we'll see what that is about tomorrow. And until then, have a great day, everyone, and I will see you in class.